Hi, my name is Nathan Van Musker. I am a tutor at the Reading and Writing Center. I am from California. I work here with my wife, Rachel. You've probably met her. Um, we have a son named Cole. He's about 2 months old. And I love writing poetry and plays. And I'm a political science major.
Oh, my name is Kelly. I am from Hong Kong. I've been here for 3 semesters in BYU, Hawaii, majoring in English education, minoring in political science and entrepreneurship. I just got married a couple of days ago.
Wow, congrats. What's your
Thanks.
husband's name?
He's Gordon. He is a TESOL
Gordon.
mate.
Ah, nice. Well, congrats. I hope your marriage is going well so far.
Yeah, it's been good. It's only 3 days.
Only 3 days. Wow. And you're at work? Good for you. Well, I know we're glad to have Kelly working with us. So I know she's a great person with great English skills. So please don't be afraid to reach out to her or any of the other reading writing center tutors. Uh, so today we're going to be talking about how to get most out of your textbook reading. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Oh, you have to allow me to share my screen. Sorry about that.
We can cut this out.
Yeah, we'll be fine. Great. Okay, share screen. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, so reading strategies. Let's get down to business. This is in tribute to the new Mulan movie. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and do that, and then tell us what you think about it. We all have different opinions, but the big line they say is, "Let's get down to business." Um, and reading textbooks can be kind of difficult and kind of overwhelming because it's a huge book, and sometimes we feel like we're expected to read every single word of it, and that's really not the case. Now Kelly and I are going to help share some ideas on how to get what you need out of a textbook and to make your time reading most fulfilling. Um, so, why strategies? Why do we need strategies? Isn't it as simple as just reading? Well, you can do that, but there's more effective ways to get what you want out of the textbook. Um, for instance, let's say we are in Laie here, and we want to get down to Waikiki, which is all the way down here in Honolulu. Now, unless we know for personal, let's pretend we've never been to this island before and we're on Laie and we need to get to Waikiki. How would we get there? First, we would need to know a map. Then we need to see the different ways we can get there. We can go up, we can go down, we can go all the way around, we can cut through. And so we need to strategize or understand how to get there. With reading, you don't want to read the entire, when it comes to textbooks, you don't have to read the entire book to get the main idea of what you're trying to find. For instance, you don't need to travel across the entire island to get to Waikiki. You can just take what you need to get to the answer. So the same is for reading. And so, for another example, intensive and extensive reading. Um, ex so with the extensive, so this is just different ways on how to get to the point. There's extensive, which means you understand the whole basic idea of a story. So perhaps your teacher, if you're in biology, he gives you a section to read about plants photosynthesizing or how plants create energies for themselves. Now, he can say, I want you to read the chapter and to understand it. And that doesn't mean read every single word and understand every single word, but just to understand the main idea of what they're trying to share. And so you have, it's like this map over here from Laie to Waikiki. You understand the basic ideas, right? You understand that you make a turn here, make a turn down here, but you get to the point. So extensive reading is understanding the big idea and breaking it down so you understand the principles. And then there's intensive reading, which is to know the nitpicky stuff or the like the exact fact or the exact statement that the professor wants you to know. So say if he's like, I want you to specifically lay out the process of a plant photosynthesizing, you would have to find the specific answer, right? There's only one specific answer he wants you to find. And that you do intensive. Kind of like this map of this is a street view, so you can see what the building is next to. This map over here is helpful to help you get there, but once you're there, and if you don't know what the building looks like, a lot of times it can be pretty hard to find the actual building, even with an address. With a street view, you can see what's around and like, okay, this is the building, this is what it looks like, and so you can go straight there. So when we read, we have to understand, is this an extensive reading or is this an intensive reading? Am I trying to understand the basic idea of the text, or am I trying to understand a specific answer, a specific question and an answer? So it really depends on what your professor wants you to do. Sometimes you might have both. Sometimes they'll want you to be able to explain the whole chapter, summarize it, but also know the nitpicky details of the chapter. And so if you're only trying to find the nitpicky stuff, you don't have to spend your time trying to understand the whole summary of the chapter unless your professor wants you to.
So when you have gotten to know what is the strategy, like extensive reading or intensive reading, which one you want to use, then you want to find more information from your reading. So now you can find it from the structure. Because the structure, they have chapter headings, the titles, introduction paragraphs, summary paragraphs. So you can either skim through it or you can scan through it. So what's the difference between skimming and scanning? So skimming means you're just skimming through it really quick. You're reading like extensive reading, you're reading through it without the details. But skimming, it's not lazy. It's actively reading parts rather than the whole thing. And scanning means you're reading through all the specific details, specific information, and it will help you to understand all the details. But it's like what Nathan said. Do you need it? What is your professor asking for? So skimming and scanning, it's like eating a pizza. So when you're eating a pizza, sometimes when you're hungry, you may want to eat the whole pizza. And sometimes when you're not hungry, you may want to slice it up and just eat each one of them when you're hungry, whenever you feel like it. So when you're skimming through the paragraphs or skimming through the book, then you're eating the whole thing. And sometimes you may just want to eat one of them. And when you're eating, sometimes you want to take a break. Because when you're eating a lot, eating too much, you may get too overwhelmed by it. So it's a scientific thing. 30 to 45 minutes study, then break. Break that is going to give your brain a rest. Give yourself enough time to study and take breaks, but don't take it too long or too short, because abusing study breaks is just going to hurt your brain or hurt yourself. So we're going to have a healthy plan, manage your time well, and think about when are you going to take breaks, how are you going to take it. Maybe you can take a nap, maybe you can play guitar, you can listen to music, whatever you'd like to do. Just take a break, let your brain rest.
And that goes to know yourself. We need to know who we are and how we study and how we do best. Maybe you can, maybe your attention span's really good and you can sit down for hours and hours reading. Or maybe some of you can only read 10 minutes at a time before your mind starts to wander off. So know yourself and know what works best for you when reading. Like these pizzas, we know which pizza we prefer the best. And it's the same with reading. And, you know, reading is a very personal thing. We all read differently. Like we might think we don't, like reading's reading, but we all read differently. Um, some people want to read really fast. Some people read really slow. Um, it doesn't matter. But as long, the important part is to know how you work so that you can get the best experience out of your reading. For instance, if let's say you're a morning person, you want to read in the morning. Or if you are a night person, you want to read at night. You want to read when you're most awake and attunative or like able to understand what's going on. And only you know when that's best. Also depends on the day, on how you're feeling. Whether some days I feel like I'm ready to read an entire chapter of a textbook, other days I need to stop every other paragraph and reflect my thoughts, think back about what I was talking about or what I was reading about, or or just completely step away from the textbook and come back when I'm ready. Also, you want to read in a place that you're not too comfortable in. So we don't recommend reading your textbook in your bed. Like that would reading in your bed would be fine if you're reading like a book for fun, right? Like a leisure book. But if you're trying to read a textbook for a class, you have to receive information. It's more educational. Then we prefer you reading in a spot that is comfortable enough so that you're free to think, open up your mind, but not too comfortable where you get too relaxed and it becomes more of a leisure. So instead of like reading on your bed, maybe try reading on a couch or at a desk, something that you're comfortable with, but not too comfortable. But yet again, it all depends on you. Maybe you're really good at reading on the bed, or maybe you like to stand and read or sit down on the floor. It really depends on you. You know you better than your professor or anybody else knows. So just think about how you are able to process things, when you're able to process things, and where is the best place to do that for you.
So now you've got all these strategies, like how you're going to read it, when you're going to read it, and where. But what have you read? Like you have to summarize what you have read and what you have learned from the book. So it's now really important that critical thinking comes to the place. So you gotta know what is your opinion on the theme or the topic that the author was writing about. Do you agree with it, disagree with it? Why? Be critical and skeptical when you're thinking about it. And you have to know everyone has bias. So be aware of their opinions influencing facts, how it influences facts, and how would you do this differently, or what would you add if you're the author? Like what have it what have it led you to think about on this topic? You can summarize what you have learned and think about it through. So yeah. So after you have applied all that we have talked about today, you can comment it on Reading Center Facebook page or Instagram, whatever way that's comfortable for you. And you can always ask us questions if you have any, and we're here to help you.
Yeah, our our information desk or So someone is always behind our emails every day. So if you have a question, even the grammar one, and you could just send us an email, and we'll do our best to get back to you, or schedule appointments. And I know the people that we work with at the Reading Writing Center, they really do care about you. In our meetings, we always talk about how can we better help our fellow students who come in for help. So you do care to us, and we are thinking what's best for you. I know Kelly is a great tutor, and we have many other people just like her who are friendly and kind and love helping. So yeah, please feel free to ask us any questions what that you might have, and we're here for you. Um, so thank you, everybody. If you do have questions, again, just ask us over email at the Reading Writing Tutors Center, and we'll get back to you. And yeah, so thank you. All right.
Okay.